Welcome to Backpass with Ras. I'm bringing you again Mr. V. Sundramoorthy for part two of our Sundramoorthy special episode called The Dazzler, with the Dazzler himself, of course. So right now, let's talk about your time in the S League, the beginning of life of professional football in Singapore. Joining Woodlands Wellington, how did that move come about, and
Okay,
why Woodlands Wellington?
I was playing for Woodlands Wellington after Kelantan, after the injury. When I came back in 1995,
What injury do you have?
my knee,
Oh,
knee injury, I had to lay off for a couple of months
mm,
and came back. And then Woodlands gave me an opportunity in the NFL
okay.
to play and to recover what I've lost over a couple of months and prepare myself for the upcoming S League.
Mm. And so that's how it's an easy transition. Then Woodlands became the natural team for you to join.
Yes, yes, yes.
And in those days, I remember when the S League started, they made it a point that all the national team players or Malaysia Cup heroes, we would say, from the dream team and all, everyone was equally spread out among all the S League clubs.
Yeah, to make the league interesting, they wanted to balance the team.
Yeah.
And some of them went to Woodlands, some to Geylang, some to Tampines. So it was a good move. And I felt that most of the team can beat each other.
Mm. And who are your teammates?
Oh, my teammates were very interesting players. We had Irvin Boban.
Oh my God, Naveen Boban.
Is such a talented player. And then we had Jen Janostak.
Uh, all
The,
these were from the Malaysia League.
yes, yes, yes. We call him the Terminator. And we had the craziest goalkeeper in Sandro.
Sandro Radon.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So it was even Borhan was there.
Uh,
So we started the campaign in 1996 with a very good Woodlands team,
mm,
and I felt that the stadium was filled every time.
yeah. I think before that, talk to me about the supporters of Woodlands Wellington. How were they in the crowd? Home and away, I guess they were noisy.
Definitely, the drums will never stop beating.
Mm,
And they have the group, the drummers group, and when we are especially dominating the game, the
mm.
drums will be really loud. For the players on the pitch we can hear, but most of the games I think we were always dominating because we had many good players in the team.
And how was your time in Woodlands Wellington?
Was excellent the first year. The second year I got injured, and then I couldn't complete the 97 season. Then I moved to Jurong during
Jurong
the
FC.
window, yeah, in 1998.
Jurong, your time in Jurong, how did this move come about? Was it due to the injury or
No,
was it an offer that you received?
I finished my contract with no, I think I had a year to run with Woodlands, but Mr. Supaya, you remember, we call him Mr. Jurong. So he was instrumental in my move to Jurong FC. I think they paid some transfer fee to Woodlands.
And yeah, talking about owners as well, Woodlands had also a very colorful character as an owner, Mr. Venga.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Was it easy to tell him about the move, or was he welcoming about it, or did he try his best to keep you at the club?
Because since I was injured, it was easy for him to make a decision.
Okay.
So there was some transfer fee involved, and then I think it was a win-win situation
Mm.
for him and for Supaya to settle that I can move.
Okay. Not joining Jurong. Jurong is a club that is, compared to Woodlands, I would say a smaller club. You are
Smaller
the
club,
player,
smaller
the star
budget.
player. What was Jurong FC like playing for them now?
it was a smaller club and a smaller budget, lah. But Jimmy Pearson was our coach, and he created a good environment, training on and off the field, and the boys performed. But even though we finished mid-table or 6 or 7, but I think we give a run for money for most of the team.
Yeah, you made it tough for the opponents. I think it was not easy to play in your stadium. I believe some of my previous guests have mentioned Jurong FC to be like the Wimbledon of Singapore.
Yeah, the playing style.
Yeah. So it was not easy to play against Woodlands. The stadium was also very tight and compact. Fans were very close.
Yeah, exactly. We can feel the stadium with the fans, and again, our style of football. We were quite physical at that time. Like what you say, like the Wimbledon style. But that's the only
But
way
that
to.
clashes with your style, isn't it? Because you are more, flamboyant, running the ball, attacking kind of player.
But but sometimes you must see what kind of material you have in the team,
Mm.
and then you need to come out with the playing model where it suits the team. You see.
Okay. Now your teammates at Jurong, can you name some of them?
Oh, we had some good players. I think you remember Jason Ensley,
Yes.
Bashir Khan, Dalis, Tamil Maran. Then we had Lito, the
Sasi Kumar,
foreigner.
he was there,
Sasi
right?
Kumar. Sasi Kumar played for me. I think 1 season, 1.5 season he played for me. T
Yeah.
Ramu. A lot of players. Even Rafi Ali. Yeah, Rafi
Mm.
Ali did very well for us.
And Tak Chuan as well was telling me about his time at Jurong and how you helped him establish a position and a playing style. So, what you remember of him?
Well, Tak Chuan was a uni boy. You
Mm.
know, finishing school, and he and Joseph Prakasam were coming always late, or sometimes if they have exams, they're missing. But I saw some potential in both of them. But Joseph already played in the national team 1 or 2 caps, I think so. But Tak Chuan, I saw something in him where I believe that it can be developed further.
Mm.
So I make sure I gave him the right position where he can develop. And he never let me down, you see.
Mm.
So he started becoming better in every game. And then whenever I take out the team sheet, he'll be one of the first names to be there.
Mm. Right now, at the time you are with Jurong, I guess it's time that your career is winding down as well. You're reaching the end of your time as a footballer. And I guess in this time in the S League, you probably would know most of the players as well that are playing in the S League. But was there any player in the opposition that really surprised you to be as good as they were?
I mean, there were many good players in the league. Warriors bring in Ivica Ragus,
Mm.
another striker, Juri Ares,
Yuri Arias, yes.
Vladimir Klajian, and I
Obi
feel that
Buffett.
Warriors had very good foreigners.
Mm. So those were the ones that stuck out in your mind then.
Even in Tampines, we had this guy Marco Antonio.
Yeah.
Is one of the outstanding players I felt.
Mm.
You know,
Between Woodlands and Jurong, which club you feel was closest to your heart?
for me,
Sorry, is closest to your heart.
when I went to Jurong, the way things were happening, the way the involvement of my president, my VP, my committee members, so I felt more attached to them
Mm.
because the way they took care of the players,
Mm-hmm.
and Even we were struggling budget wise, but they honored the contract and paid every cent to everybody.
Wow, nice. Unfortunately, both clubs are not in the S League today. How
Yeah,
do you feel about
that's
that?
very sad, man. Very sad.
And are you following the S League at the moment?
Uh,
SPL as it's known now.
yeah, I mean, I catch some games once a while.
Any favorite club at the moment? Because, I mean, you don't have any of your clubs that you used to play are no longer in the league.
Yeah, exactly. But like what I say is LCS has got a good team. Good foreigners and all that.
Yeah. When you watch the S League today and compared to when you played in it, what do you feel about the difference in terms of the atmosphere?
It's about the fans lah. For me, it's about the fans. If the stadium is full, then the players can develop further and do their best. If you go to any concert, if there's no fans in the concert, you want to perform, you don't have the appetite. So same for me. When I go to a stadium when it's empty, I cannot perform. It's very difficult for me, as a player.
Mm. And when you're a player, so I must say this as well. I have heard people say that they go all the way to Jurong just to watch you play. They might not be Jurong FC fans, but they just go there to watch you play. And also at Woodlands as well when you were playing for them. They just travel the distance just to watch you play. Do you know of this kind of fans?
Yeah. I see a lot of. I mean, when I'm in Woodlands, there will be many fans coming to watch me, and when I moved to Jurong, some of them followed me, and they come week in and week out. And that is something I cherish actually, where fans follow you.
Okay. This thing as well, when you're talking about your career in the S League and all that, it kind of reminded me of a player, my all-time favorite player, Roberto Baggio, who went to a smaller Italian club called Brescia and ended his career there. It kind of reminded me of that, where he was like the star in that team and he's carried the team to go further than they would normally would. So it reminded me a bit of that, your time with Jurong and especially with your time with Jurong, a smaller club in Singapore, a star player like you going there, playing well, getting the club to punch above its weight,
Yeah,
being difficult. So I can see a similarity with something that happened in international football. When do you decide that this is time for you to hang up your boots?
okay. In when was that? 2003. I think 2003 when I was about 38. And
It's quite commendable that you lasted till 38.
38, still enjoying the game lah. Coming in 30 minutes, 40 minutes to try to influence.
That longevity of your career as well, what would you put it down to? Is it good habits, fitness?
Just maintaining my body weight and then trying to train and then working out in the gym. So just to maintain myself. But I couldn't, during the last 1-2 years, I just come in 30, 40 minutes to make an impact. I became an impact player.
Okay.
No more the one who starts the game. Unless there are a lot of injuries, I can start the game, But just come in, make an impact, score a goal or assist, which I always can do in the league, which I was doing at 37, 38. I was still doing it, you see.
I can imagine when you were coming on, the crowd will go wild.
Wow, and then the support will come out, the drums will start playing and all that.
Yeah. And in terms of preparation as well, when you were a young guy, 18 years old, till when you were 38, so about 20 years you spent of your
Yes,
life
good 20
playing
years playing
football.
football.
Yeah. Was there any difference in your preparation towards the games in terms of diet, in terms of exercises, sleep? what you intake, what your intake was in terms of food, drinks?
When you were younger, I mean, there wasn't, we were not really educated about nutrition and everything when you are at 18. But as you grow along, you adjust your diet. Definitely, when you have a match on Saturday, you will adjust your diet throughout the week, And match day, you try to eat something which gives you a lot of energy.
Can you give me an example of what would you normally eat before a match?
I would definitely go for like carbo loading, just carbo loading, and then I would go for pasta and all that.
Mm. Okay. And this was prepared by you or at home
No,
by
I
home?
just go out and yeah, because I don't have an Italian chef. My wife only Indian. No.
Well, you could make it Indian Italian fusion.
Yeah. Must try. Like maybe
Yeah.
at patron level now. No.
Yeah. Right. Nice. Okay. Were you also into things like yoga and all that, stretching so that you could last a bit longer playing football?
Not really. At the time, yoga for me wasn't really that popular.
Mm.
But I used it in Lions 12 after every game for the players.
Okay. And your time in Switzerland also, did it teach you much about nutrition and taking care of your body?
It was like you're talking about when was this? When I was 21.
Yeah.
Europe also is
80s.
just catching up with uh, the, the nutrition part and all that.
Mm. So that culture down there in Switzerland, was it a lot of going out to the pubs and drinking after games?
I mean, this is their lifestyle, you see.
Yeah.
I mean, after the game, they just go nights out and all that. They let themselves down. They have to really enjoy the night, like if they win or if they lose, to drown the sorrows. So either way, they will go and enjoy themselves.
Would you join them?
No, once in a while, I'll join them to
Okay.
have a couple of drinks and all that. Lah.
Nice. So coming back again now, you were mentioning that you lasted till 38. When you lasted till 38 and then you decided to retire, was that influenced by injuries or lack of, you lost a bit of passion? What was it?
No, I actually intend to play up to 40. I wanted
Oh,
to push myself
that
up
was
to
your
40.
goal. That was your goal.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Jurong had to close down when I was
Oh,
38.
okay.
So, it's already a signal to me that you have to take another pathway.
Hmm. And at this point, were you already preparing for life after football?
Yes, I have already completed my pro diploma by then.
Wow.
So I was ready to go on to FAS to work
When do
after
you start taking your coaching courses?
this like C diploma when I was late 20s,
Hmm.
and then the B like 1 2 years later, A another 1 2 years later, and then eventually the pro.
Okay. So you all the while you were just interested in just getting into coaching. Never thought of coming out of the football line and working elsewhere.
But
Else.
we really did not have any cert or any qualification other than upgrading myself as a coach. You see,
Hmm.
so that is a bit. I didn't do my stuff well when I was in school lah. So it was a bit of a regret, but nevertheless, my journey towards coaching and where I am now as a technical director in Lao Football Federation, I think there's not much regrets.
Hmm. You got into businesses as well.
Yes. I'm still doing some futsal pitches, and it's been run by my partner lah, Marco.
That's your first one. That's the first ever business that you started.
Uh, Futsal we started first, and then Chat Masala, my restaurant.
Okay. Is the restaurant still running?
No, because my wife has retired now. So we
Your
have
wife was
sold
the
the
cook?
business. She
Was
runs
your
the
wife the
restaurant,
cook?
and
Okay, she runs the.
we have sold the business.
Okay. Now, on your time as a coach, you first coaching job would have been Jurong FC, right? You were player manager.
Player coach, yes, first coaching
Yeah.
job.
Oh yeah, player coach. Yes, manager would be European football. Sorry. So player coach. Okay, player coach as well. No, this is a very unique position. Nowadays, you don't get many of that player coaches around. Um, how was it like managing the players? Because you're also a player, but you're a coach as well, and you're instructing them, telling them what to do, what not to do. How do you manage that? The dressing room.
No, first, very importantly, the players you sign, they must have the same understanding of what is your objective, what is your goal, and then they must have full respect for the coach.
Mm.
Decision making. Players can be in the first team, can be on the bench, can be on the grandstand, depending on their performance, on their form, and all that. So they must be willing to accept it. And as for me, I was wearing two hats. So
Yeah.
in training, I try as much as to organize the session, and mostly it will be run by my assistant.
Okay. Who's your assistant?
So his name is Ravi Indron.
Okay.
He was a soldier from the army. Then he comes in as a part-time coach, and he helps me out.
Okay. So he ran the training sessions, and then, but you set it up. He ran the sessions.
And I am a player in the session.
Yeah, you play in the sessions as well. And then, but I'm sure at points you would stop the session and say, okay, no, you're doing this wrong, or do you interfere?
I mean, definitely, if some areas, not too much, because they are all senior players, they understand the game well and all that. But certain time, you need to really stop the training and then go back to the drawing board and then explain to them what you exactly want and who you are playing against and how we want to approach the game. So small details. And with this budget team, we went to two Singapore Cup finals.
Yeah, wonderful achievement. This your first full time job lah as a coach. Which was
Yes,
it?
yes.
Which was your first full time job? As
Full
a full
time.
coach, not player
Yeah,
coach.
Jurong FC. Oh, Jurong FC, I'm a player coach, so it's like
Yeah.
half of. And then I went to NFA U17 as a full time coach.
Okay, that's the first one then.
Yes, first.
Yeah. You've had time at many different teams. You've managed different teams, different clubs, different countries even. What would you say is your greatest achievement as a coach so far?
No, as for me, very important is to develop the players. For me, I was working with NFA, working with Young Lions, working with Lions 12. They give opportunity to young players, and the players develop and play for top teams, play in, like Haris playing in JDT, and some like Safwan going to Selangor and all that. We saw them growing up, you see. So it's the satisfaction you get when you see players develop and become national team players.
Okay. In terms of achievements like trophies that you won, which one was the best?
So for me, winning the M League, I think was really wonderful experience for me.
That's something you didn't do while you were a player with Singapore FA, right?
No, I didn't do it. Almost there,
Almost
but
there.
this time I managed to get one over.
What do you feel at that point when you actually achieve this as a coach? Something you did not do as a player, and then as a coach, you managed finally got it there. What was
What
your
did?
feeling like?
Well, this was, I mean, over the moon, no, bro. And the opponents are really strong, and we really had a very young team. Yeah, and we were actually preparing for the SEA Games. and I felt that it's more for exposure. But the boys really competed and they played according to the game plan, and we were like week in and week out getting the points, you know. So eventually we were there on the last day against I remember against Felda at Jalan Besar Stadium. So if we can win this game, we will be crown champions.
Mm.
So first half was still 0-0. I remember the second half, the floodgates opened. So we managed to win the title.
Yeah, wonderful. Any experience that you had as a coach that you felt, a bit disappointed that you ended a bit too soon?
I mean, for me, the tenure of a coach definitely turnover. I think it's about 18 months. If you look at EPL sometimes even faster. And it's important what you do during that period. So for me, I felt that you know if you sign 2 years doesn't mean that you're going to be there 2 years because it's all based on results.
Mm.
So for me, I had good experience with working in Malaysia, working with the Singapore national team, working with Tampines Rovers and Young Lions, and I feel it's a good experience for me.
Okay. The difference between working in Malaysia and Singapore as a coach now?
No, as a coach, even in Laos, if you're abroad, your goal and your mind is set. You spend a lot of hours focusing on your work, because you don't have other activities so much. But in Singapore, you will still put in the number of hours, but there will be a lot of other things to handle too.
External activities.
Yeah, there will be other things to handle, which is not avoidable,
Mm.
So that is the difference. The
Mm.
focus on your job is when you are based overseas.
And the challenge of coaching overseas?
I mean, definitely the results. You're you're as good as your last win, or
Uh,
and then the target is set. You have to make sure that you get the result to stay longer.
mm.
That is a big challenge.
With the fans as well, which team do you feel you had the closest rapport with as a coach?
As a coach, I think the Lions 12 and Jurong FC, we really had good rapport with the fans.
Now, talk about the players that you have coached. Who are some of the most talented ones that you coached?
Locally, we can say that we had a young team, like what I said in the Lions show. I thought players like Shafiq Ghani had good potential. When he was young, he was such a talent. And then even players like Zufami, who came up the rank, good left foot, showed good potential. Players like Gabriel, Nazrul, all that showed good potential when they were young.
Anyone that gave you a hard time coaching?
Wow, this is something I have to recall. Really recall. I'm good at handling the players because we'll have a lot of individual meetings
Mm-hmm.
where you see if there's something not right or it's a bit going out of the way. So we need to sit and then we discuss. Most of them can be handled. It's the way how you structure your team and all that.
Mm. So no one like very, comes in, gives you a hard time in terms of being a volatile character. He wants to do things his way. Doesn't really listen to your instructions. He's a
Uh,
man of his own, so to speak.
no, not really. I think because he's contracted, and I think we, as a coach, that is your job to handle the players like that.
Mm. Well, I'm sure it would have given you a lot of stress.
Say again?
This job as a coach would have given you a lot of stress,
Sleepless nights and stress, lah, bro. This
sleepless
this
nights.
comes with the job.
Okay. How much time do you spend analyzing the opponents, setting out the tactics?
Oh, this when you are involved in the national team or when you're involved in a club team, most of the time we are planning trainings and focusing on our next game, analyzing the opponent throughout the week before the game. But nowadays you have specialized coaches who, like analysts, will do the analysis job and then give you the way the opponent is playing, the way how you played, and then you analyze your team too and where the areas to improve. So it'd be easier. But if the head coach does do the analysis and everything, it'd be also challenging.
Any coach, international coach that you took a lot of took inspiration from, or look at the way they were doing things and try to apply it into your coaching methods?
I mean, for me, I watch a lot of EPL those days when coaches like Mourinho, Angelotti, all these coaches, how they go about match to match, how they adjust the team and all that. You know, we will pick up bits and pieces from there. You know.
And in your time as a player as well, I'm sure you had many coaches that have coached you. Who were some of the best coaches that coached you?
During that generation, I can say Hussein Al was one of the better ones, and PN Siwaji was also, I can say, is one of the better ones.
And anything from their method of coaching that you applied in your coaching?
So, like for Hussein, his set plays were amazing. He comes out with some ideas where we always score during the national team or in Safsa days and all that. So we picked up a lot of the things from him. And as for Siwaji, his composure, how he handles the players, the way he speaks to us, is something to really learn from him.
Okay. And were there any players that you felt, okay, you had a big hand in improving them? They came in maybe at a lower level, maybe coming in at a lower level, but then you've improved their game up to quite a high level. Any players like that come to mind?
I mean, if you talk about the player who's improved, I mean, I don't know, Erwan Shah?
Yeah, I heard of him, yeah.
He played for Lions 12, he played in Young Lions, eventually he played in the national team. So, actually, when we recruited him, he worked really hard and he surprised me. Actually, he surprised me, eventually playing for the national team. So I felt that he was one of the players I should mention.
Yes, you should. Because these guys would need to get that recognition as well. Now, and talk about the criticism that you have received, especially in media, in the local media, that on your style of play, especially. Is it something you accept, or do you think it's fair? Or are you just trying to do the best you can with what you have available to you?
So they always will mention that I park the bus.
Yes, correct. Exactly.
So firstly, when you win parking the bus, then the tactic works,
Yes. That no wonder you mentioned Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, exactly. I took one or two things from him, So the moment you lose parking the bus, then it's something debatable. So what I felt that we analyzed the team strength and weakness, and we try to come up with a game plan against stronger opponents. If the opponent is weak, definitely we're not going to sit deeper. We are going to push up higher, and then we're going to play. I must clear the air with the fans.
Yeah. So this is your platform to do that.
That if you are playing a stronger team, then you need to adjust your tactics according to how you want to play. If you're playing a weaker team, you need to adjust the tactics accordingly. This is what I believe in. You see.
Mm. All right. So that clears the air for everyone listening in. So, in that sense, if you were to say, let's just say you had a team that was exceptional, maybe of the quality that you had when you were a player for the national team, for example, the dream team, let's say the 93 dream team, you would have played more attacking football?
100%. You have Alistair, you have Abbas with Fandi and Kade running up the flanks. How can you defend? They have
Mm.
quality, you see.
Yeah.
And then their decision making in attacking third is excellent. So you let them go and enjoy the game by playing attacking football.
And the state that Singapore football is in now, what's your take on it?
I mean, as for now, I think they qualified for the semi-finals of the Mitsubishi Cup.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's actually not bad because the last edition, I think they were knocked out. You see,
Mm.
and now for me, it's about youth development, trying to develop more young players for the future of the national team.
Mm. What do you feel about naturalization of players?
I mean, it's a must now. Everybody's doing it,
Mhm.
and if you don't do it, you miss the boat.
Are you doing the same for Laos as well? Are you looking out for players like that of mixed heritage?
We are actually looking out, and we need to find really good ones.
Mm.
So that we can give them the passport and then they can represent Laos. You see.
Okay. Right. Before we end the show, I want to do a quick fire review. This one is on your teammates. Which teammate was the most, let's say, the biggest prankster in the team?
In the team, okay, let me recall. Can be Malik.
Malik. Biggest prankster is Malik. Okay.
Yeah.
The biggest joker, the one made most jokes, the funniest guy in the team.
No, I think Malik is the funniest guy. Malik is the funniest guy. The prankster, I think you can relate it to maybe if I recall the closest. I think Abbas lah.
Okay. Which player took the longest time to get ready before going out to the pitch?
Longest time to get ready in the dream team. Let me check.
Can be any of your teams that you played for, actually.
Oh, okay. I think uh, longest time to get ready. Maybe. Wow, it's a very tough question. Uh, we are focusing on the team and who takes their time to go out at last. Probably in Jurong, can be T Ramu.
Okay. Piramu, huh? And let's say which player was probably, very serious, very, in the game, his mindset is like very game mode. Hardly will laugh, hardly will smile,
Game mode
very
and
stern.
I mean really focus on the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Cannot joke one. This guy cannot joke.
Boran maybe.
Okay. The hardest tackler,
I will give it to Boran.
Borhan also. Okay. Best free kick taker,
Best free kick taker in the national team. For me, during my time, I think I can give it to Fandi lah.
Fandi. Okay. Best header of the ball, Fandi.
Same answer.
Okay. Who delivered the best crosses?
I think you can give it to Malik Awab.
Mhm. The player with the fastest player you've played with.
Gerard Lewis.
Okay. Which team is that?
He played for the national team for a while during the SEA Games in '83.
Okay. Very fast, huh? The player that was very sharp in the penalty box, the sharpest player in the penalty box. And even half a chance he can take and score.
Wow. Who I played with,
Yeah.
half a chance. I think this you must give it to Fandi, no choice.
The player with the worst dressing sense. That means he wears the worst kind of clothes.
What kind of clothes, dressing sense?
Mm.
I, I I can't recall. This I have to give it a miss.
Okay. Now let's go international. These are just your best in terms of each position. Okay. Best ever goalkeeper.
For me, I can go for Edmund Wee.
International.
Oh, international. Okay. If you're looking at goalkeeper internationally, Peter Schmeichel,
Okay. Best ever defender.
uh, Jeb Stam,
Yep.
Maldini,
Mm.
maybe on the left, Roberto Carlos.
Mm.
On the right, maybe Cafu.
Okay. Best ever midfielder.
Midfielder can look for. Wow, there's too many players coming to my mind. So I'm trying to get the best one.
I know.
And I feel that central midfield, you can go for Perlo
Hello.
because his distribution is good. And then you can definitely,
Read the game well as well.
yeah, he's a good connector from defense to attack.
Mm. Best ever forward.
I will go for Ronaldo.
Okay. And in terms of stadiums that you have played in, the best atmosphere you remember in a stadium.
I've played in best atmosphere must be our national stadium.
Okay. That is as a home player, as an on a away ground when you visit a stadium. Which one was the most intimidating?
When you go to Kota Baru,
Kota Baru. Okay, scary. Is there a stadium that you wish you could play in anywhere in the world?
my dream to play in anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Wembley.
Wembley, the old Wembley, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a class feel.
Yeah,
Carpet grass,
yeah, amazing.
amazing feel. I agree with you. The twin towers, the carpet grass. Wow. All right, Sundram, thank you very much for sharing all your memories, your thoughts, clearing the air, even good two-part special that you've given us as well. A lot of time taken to speak to us all the way in Laos. I appreciate it greatly, and I hope the viewers and listeners will love it as well. So thank you very much. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And as usual, before we go, I would like to ask you, who would you like us to interview next?
Oh, for me, next interesting character. I think you should get Kade on board.
Kade, okay. Can you hook me up with him?
I try my best.
Okay, can. Yeah, it will be interesting to speak to him as well. So, right, this is me, Ras, signing out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Ciao.